DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's DeFi Kingdoms AMA. Lovely to see you all, as always. I hope you've all been busy since last night, but I can't imagine what you possibly would have been busy with. But, we'll get into that shortly here. We are going to kick off with some updates. We won't take too long this week, and then we will jump into some questions. So first update, the first round of rewards from the Metis sponsored Void Hunt have been distributed. So if you claimed within the first 35 days, that Metis has been delivered. Yesterday was the final day to claim from the remaining 25 days. So I'm going to be pulling that list today and getting that ball rolling. And yes, we do still have the Twitter giveaway as well. So there will be more Metis going out. But if you've been waiting for that first round, it has been delivered. So check your wallet on Metis. Quick reminder, because it's coming up fast. Next week, we will be at Permissionless. I hope by now, if you're planning to be there, you have reached out to me. But if you have not, please do so. Won't spend too much time on that, as we've talked about it a couple times, but really looking forward to Permissionless next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, going into last night, I am going to open up the floor to anybody who wants to talk about it. But we did some releases last night. Just, a couple of small things, I think. So I'm going to pass it over to, I guess, let's start off with Beetle Dude, just because we haven't heard from Beetle Dude in a while. And then anybody that wants to chime in is more than welcome.
Oh, hi. Yes, it has been a while. I guess I've been released from the dungeon because we did our launch last night.
Very temporary.
Temporarily, yeah. It's one of many. But yeah, I guess I'll just say super proud of what the team has accomplished across the board. This is a huge effort across all of our different pillars, and we've been working on it pretty much nonstop. And in the last couple weeks, just everyone's been heads down and working late nights, weekends, everything that needs to happen to get this out the door. So just want to express appreciation to the team for all the work they've done in that regard. And then, yeah, I guess I'll also say what we released, because Bolin didn't actually say, but it's the first phase of PvP, along with a whole bunch of exciting new systems that will help kind of build the groundwork for what's to come in the future. I will leave some of that to Hubert because he's better at describing all the cool stuff. But just to say, it's been a huge effort. I'm excited that it went off with mostly little hitches, just a few bugs, but I think most of those are getting hammered out now or have been hammered out. But appreciate everybody for providing feedback, and we'll just keep plugging away and improving it. There's definitely a lot of quality of life and improvements that we're hoping to make in the near future. So appreciate the community for playing and bridging your heroes over and trying it out, and more exciting stuff to come.
It sounded like that was your cue, Hubert.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Got him.
Got me. Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, yesterday was a really crazy day. I think a lot of us on the team, we don't really get to enjoy the excitement of a new release because we're all like paying attention to any bug reports that we get or anything going wrong, and we kind of go into like DEFCON 1 mode for a little while with especially the big releases like this. So I missed a lot of the initial excitement around it. I tried to catch a little bit, like as I was reading for anyone having an issue. I was also like seeing people's excitement. Very much appreciated that. Looking forward to seeing more of that as the days move forward, and the dust is more settled. But it was a huge amount of effort on really from everybody on our team to get to this point. Starting even just in the beginning with our biz dev folks, with Dreamer and Sunbear, who worked with Metis to even get a deal that would allow us to do this in the first place. So kudos to really everyone on our team for all of their effort. Especially near the end there, we were getting really into crunch time too, and everyone really pulled together. So very proud of this team, proud of everything we were able to accomplish, and I think just this is the first step of many towards having a really complete and fully fleshed out PvP offering for you guys. There are plenty of things I've seen as far as feedback already on some things that we could change or add. A lot of the things that I've heard are things that we were already planning to address eventually. It's just a matter of time and when we can, which things we're going to get to first. I guess I'll just say that we do have more plans for more ways that influence is going to matter in Metis. Also, let's see. Yeah, I think our next big milestone is going to be tournaments. So we definitely have that on the horizon, but also trying to see where we can fit in some smaller things along that path towards getting tournaments out as well. So so it shouldn't be four-ish months from now that we'll have a new update. I think we'll see some updates in between there. So just I guess we'll see what I guess be excited for the things to come. Keep giving us your feedback, and thank you all for participating, and looking forward to seeing more of those matches. So thanks, everybody.
We have 2 foxes now. Also, while we're talking about last night, we have not mentioned equipment yet. Hubert, do you want to talk about that at all?
Oh yeah, so that happened too. We now have bring your own equipment in everything. And that'll just kind of be our modus operandi from now on, where everything that's higher level is going to need your heroes to be equipped to be very effective at it. We do have plans for there being low level content for levels, everything starting at level 1 and up. So once that content is available, then there will be some things you can do without equipment, because your heroes do start with level 1 really rusty 1,000-year-old equipment. Yeah, you can acquire the Squire's gear. That is what you were using if you didn't have equipment before from the Hunters Guild. That's acquirable in Crystal Vale right now in the marketplace. We have an armorer and weaponsmith there in the top left corner. And the equipment there is set up with kind of a dynamic pricing model, which I think there was a question in our list of questions about that. But the prices are always changing depending on if people are buying or not buying them. So you can go take a look and see where it's at right now. Everything's in gold, and all that gold will be burned when used. Really exciting for what that means in terms of just hero appearances. We have a whole bunch more different weapons and armor out there now that people can use. It's a pretty big influx of items. So hopefully you guys have checked those out. I know for the lower level equipment right now, it's not as useful unless you're trying to do low level PvP, which I encourage you guys to try out. Maybe you can beat somebody with a stick and string. Who knows? But anyway, I think that's all I'll say for that.
Fox, I saw you turn your camera on. I don't know if it's because you want to say anything or just show off, but what's up?
I wanted to show my hat. But no, yeah, I also wanted to talk a little bit. If that's okay. Just amazed by where we are. It's this particular feature, in and of itself, has been a long time in the works. And it's something that we've had on our roadmap for a long time, since the very start. And it's amazing to finally be able to release it. It's the culmination of just so many hours and hours and hours and hours from everyone on our team, and it's an amazing product. I've seen so many cool streams and others that are playing it, enjoying it, and I need to actually
enter the ring and probably get my ass kicked by somebody out there. But you know, there's amazing stuff from the tech side. You know, I'm sort of a tech guy, and I am really excited about a lot of like the actual new stuff that we put into this. We basically overhauled like a ton of our contracts to just really apply all of the things we've learned over the past 3 years and just really like make things super streamlined and optimized to try to save everyone like more and more on gas, trying to squeeze out as much efficiency as we can out of the blockchain. And learned a lot of really cool like lessons just over the last, you know, 6 months of like having this get built that will apply to everything that we build in the future too. So it's amazing. We've like really pioneered some new mechanisms in our contracts and things that will be awesome there. We've have some like really cool stuff that are in the works for like the next phase of this too. Like here, all the stuff that we put into the phase one, and like we added a lot of stuff to it that we hadn't originally thought. But it's just like, hey, let's do this also, and then also this and this. It's just kind of, I guess, the slow creep of the features as like it gets added into it. But it's really just laying the foundation. You know, we've got this really cool engine, this like really cool system that's been built that just adding things onto it increases exponentially the amount of stuff you can do in it and the amount of experiences you can have with it. So I'm really excited about that. We launched an entirely new bridge, and I haven't seen a single stuck bridge. So I'm really stoked about that. I was really anticipating there'd be something. And of course, with any huge like release like this, there's always things. And we had an issue with, you know, like Hero XP was like being translated wrong. I actually had that get squashed within probably a couple hours of it being reported, including the cleanup. So really proud of how we handled that and opened up the bridges again. And it's just amazing. I think there's now been over 9,000 heroes that have been bridged without really any issues with anyone being lost or stuck. So that's awesome. And yeah, I'm just really proud of our team, really proud of our efforts that have been put into this and the community and how all of you guys have received it. And also Metis has been an amazing partner to work with. So I just wanted to say all those things. Thanks.
Appreciate you, Fox. I know Pinecone has something to update specifically for community builders as well. But before I kick over to him, anybody have anything else they just want to say on the PvP front in general? Dreamer?
I was gonna talk, but I just horrible. Here, let me put on a hat. Better. All right. Yeah, guys, this is really freaking awesome. And I think for anybody in the AMA right now, to look at the potential, you know, if you look out there in the blockchain gaming space, there's a lot of cool stuff happening. People are doing different things, and even some really big games are getting a lot of attention and even getting a lot of hate. People are going to have different opinions on, you know, where the space should be going, what influencers should be focused on. But what we have, not only the combat system that is being developed by Hubert, Beetle Dude, Second Mistad, Magnus, and all of our great minds, but what you're seeing come together is an experience where really we could attract any type of person within the space, whether they're people that are active still in DeFi and want a gamified experience, whether they love the turn-based deep strategy in an RPG type game, or they want to come and speculate. And we've had some people enjoying that feature already. There's a lot more to come to beef this up. What's public is mainly about tournaments, not only our tournament that we end up setting, that we're working out the details on frequency and how that would work, but third parties. And when we think about that, you know, influencers coming in, other projects that are completely unrelated to even games, launching their own with their own token, it becomes a really what we want to become known as is the place to play a fun game that is as blockchain enabled as you can make it, and we'll continue to work on that and improving that, but also a place to come and market to gamers, to socialize with gamers, and over time, not only adding game features, but things that make it more fun to interact with the game itself. So far, you can already do that with pledging your heroes, gaining influence, using that influence to earn rewards that others put up to watch people compete in a highly strategic chess match. So it's really exciting, but also everybody here has a role to play. If you notice on in the Sundered Isles, there's a lot that is not available when you think about questing and crafting and summoning, but there's heroes available. There are markets to support it. There's a huge opportunity here as we continue to work with Metis to market to folks to come check out the game on Metis. They're going to need heroes. They're going to need potions. They're going to need equipment. And a lot of people here have them or have access to them. So it kind of is reintroducing or lighting a fire under the play to earn possibilities there, because connecting Sundered Realms to Serendale and Crystal Vale is the whole point. We're looking out for all of our partners. If you've noticed, even gaming on Avalanche is sharing and tweeting all of our DFK Coliseum releases. Some might scratch their head and be like, well, it's on Metis. Why are they doing that? Well, because all of the success of Coliseum on Metis directly correlates to continued success of Crystal Vale on Avalanche. It's a really beautiful idea. The team here has executed it so far like I don't think any others could. Not only heads down passionate, working a lot of hours, but discarded many ideas that would have just been bad and put in the extra time to make features and ideas that are better than really we could have done along the way. So very, very proud of everybody here. Very grateful for our partners and the trust that the folks at Metis have put in this team and in this community. And I'm looking forward to the next steps with announcements like Wayfinders and Spike. We're getting right to work with them in Argentina. Spike is going to be there, and there's an Argentina Wayfinders Guild that we're going to be doing IRL playtesting with. And we're looking to get like a good chunk of people there. Sunbear and myself working with Spike and his team. We want to pull in new players. We want to feed the ecosystem with that new blood, and we want everybody here to continue to welcome people with open arms, but benefit from it as well. Pay attention to those markets. There could be some pretty good opportunities of demand exceeding supply there and requiring some of our OG players to do the work in the full realms and bridge over to offer to new players. So just wanted to share. Very excited and proud of everybody that has contributed, from the deal making, from the marketing. Bolon and Starcat have been so busy as well with Sunbear and others on the marketing side. If you've noticed, our socials have been way busier. We've been putting out way more graphics, a lot more videos. We have no more people. This is people working a lot harder and longer, and collaborating with the Metis folks as well, who have been a huge help. So big shout out to everybody. Thanks, Bolon.
No, thank you. And that was a great mention. Real quick before I kick over to Pinecone, if y'all have not seen with Spike and Wayfinders, we announced on Monday, Tuesday, one of those days. I think it was Tuesday. Spike is our first official DFK ambassador. He's been gearing up with a PvP team. I know Sticks intern brought him into the Mythic Squad Discord and was helping him look for some heroes. He posted on Twitter looking for recommendations for his third. But he's really excited to be diving further into the game. He's a very, very well-known person in the gaming space, and especially the Web3 gaming space. And then he also founded Wayfinders Gaming Guild, which is really just a big group of gamers. That's who they are. That's what they do. We saw several of them come and participate in the open testing weekend. We've seen some of them starting to gear up to get into PvP now as well. So just really excited for that collaboration. It really just helps bring DFK straight in front of gamers. And that's what it's all about, is bringing in new players, bringing in new users, and especially with the PvP launch, really driving that gamer approach. So I'm really excited for that. Really looking forward to it. Spike has also been hanging out in our Discord several times already. So when you see him, say hey. Spike's an awesome guy. He's super cool. Him and Wayfinders will fit in with our community so well, and I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be a great pairing. So say hey, welcome them, and anyone else from Wayfinders, as I know y'all will, and help them get started. Help them show them the ropes. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, over to Pinecone for his update.
Hey guys, it's nice to be here on this, I'd say, historic day for the project. I've been building towards this for 3 years, so feels really great to start the rollout of PvP features. I have an announcement for a little something to the community devs. So when we made this interface for the management of battles and stuff, we made an endpoint pretty cached list of like open battles and who's spectating them and how much are they sponsored and what are the rewards and stuff like that. And we'd like to open this endpoint up to the community devs. It would be really useful and cool if someone made a dashboard and like added links to spectate on the battles, and you can like click on something to get right into the battle and see what's going on and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. So I'll add the link to the endpoint in the community devs Discord and some details. The endpoint has the e-tag caching system, so if you want to, you can pass on the tag and only get updates, so you don't have to process everything all the time. Yeah, and I'm excited to see if anyone comes up with anything fun with using this endpoint. Stay tuned for details in the community devs Discord room.
Awesome. Thank you, Pinecone. Let's see. Winston throwing out a challenge in the chat for if anybody wants to do a fight. Looks like Esper's taking you up on it. So we're going to see a Winston v. Esper fight here shortly. We're going to play it live while we answer questions. So we are going to go ahead and move into questions. We're going to see how much we can get through. We didn't end up answering any last week, so we're going to try to make up for some lost time. So I'm going to start off with the good old classic Hubert Hour. Actually, it's only one, and then I'll switch and then come right back to you. But any thoughts on a feature that allows pets to be fed multiple treats at once?
Yeah, so I know this has been kind of a sticking point, especially now that we have expeditions and how the feeding works with that. It doesn't actually update the pet, so it causes issues with duels. So I assume that's kind of the motivation behind that. I guess I'll say, like, when that pet feeding was set up, we also had a power up that would increase like the amount of time that the treat would take effect, and kind of also added some contingencies to prevent people from kind of exploiting that power up, where like if you feed a pet yourself and then you give it to some other account that doesn't have the power up, they don't get the benefit of that extra time. And like things of that nature, or like you feed the pet and then you remove the power up immediately thereafter, like it would like undo the time that you gained afterwards. So that whole mechanism of kind of accounting for exploiting would be tricky to like expand it to allow for a lot more feeding, because then we'd need to like account for like how long ago they were previously fed, and undo like multiple treats at once and things like that. So there are technical reasons why doing that would be kind of a mess to like do. It wouldn't be like just flipping a switch or anything like that. I guess in general, the idea behind that was that we wanted players to be, to have things that they kind of needed to do, kind of upkeep of like playing the game, was kind of part of the motivation for that. So, I mean, I could see us changing it to make it just something that you don't have to think about as much, or at least expanding it, like the gravity feeder power up to apply in more places. So at least the pets can be kept fed automatically without you needing to do much. But yeah, I mean, it would be kind of an effort to like work out those issues. So I think maybe one thing that we should probably look at more sooner rather than later would be to see if there's a way we can at least ensure like the pets that are on expeditions are being considered fed for the purposes of duels. So at least that one issue is resolved. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Hubert. Fox, we've talked a little bit about this before, but any thoughts on a any thoughts on a system that allows people to make offers on NFTs?
Yes. And sorry, I moved to the kitchen to eat a sandwich. But yeah, let's see. I think there's a lot of things that there's a lot of different ways to approach this, and it's a really interesting thing. There's like services out there that allow you to sort of message someone at their address on chain. There's stuff that we could do in game, like using our like Firebase stuff and have like a sort of like way for you to message things. What we want to avoid is a situation that I've seen on a lot of other marketplaces where once you add the ability to make offers, suddenly you've got a bunch of just spam offers and things like that. And I think Bolon, you also mentioned that you've seen this as well. But just you don't want to suddenly just have all these like, I'll send you 0.1 joule for this hero, and it's just like, no, I'll never do that. So we got to figure out a good way to approach it. From a technical standpoint, from the smart contract side, it's not super involved to just create a sort of like offer system that would say, hey, I'm willing to pay this much. The other person says, okay, boom, it gets transferred. It's not super involved. The hard question, as always, is how do we make it be an enjoyable experience that won't be abused? So I think we've definitely got some opportunities of things we could do, and I think it'd be a really cool feature to do. For now, I think what I've seen people doing is just using Discord and elsewhere to just ask people. But you've got some players that like you don't know if they're on Discord or even like you don't know necessarily who they are at all. So that's kind of one of the cool things about being on the blockchain. So I hope and I think that we'll do something eventually to make this easy and enjoyable for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And yeah, if you've ever owned an NFT that's listed on OpenSea, which all of you probably have because your heroes on Kaya are on OpenSea, but if you ever look at it, there'll be 1,000 offers for zero money. So want to make sure it's protected. Going back to Hubert for a little bit here, when pet combat bonuses are available, will pets be visible next to heroes in PvP and PvE?
So likely not as a permanent thing. I guess we'll check to see if there's anything that would make sense to do for when you do like an activated ability or something like that. But I think the main issue is that our pets don't necessarily have the same pixel density as like the heroes do, or like the backgrounds. So making each pet look like they make sense on the battlefield would actually be kind of technically tricky and make SPD probably pull all his hair out. So we likely won't have it be something where you just always see them all the time. Plus, some of those pets are very large, so like it would probably be pretty distracting to have like very big pets also like sitting right behind your heroes. So there's a lot of technical reasons why we probably won't do too much of that, but we may be able to have some things. But yeah, more to say when we have a lot of things to work out there still on the combat bonuses. So.
Can I be there when you ask SBD to animate some 800 pets for another one for you, and kind of potentially for Workhorse as well, who we have up here. Hi, Workhorse.
Yo.
Could the Dragoon have a skewer or kebab skill tree where he pierces all 3 heroes, picks them up, shuffles them, slams them, spins them, etc.?
It's weird. I have like one DM in my inbox from Hubert, and it's literally to design that. So like I don't know who's getting this information, but it's real good.
Hubert's alt submitted the question.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
I think I have no follow-up.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Esper, look me up. One match or about 144. You got to come find me.
Oh, all right. Gauntlet has been thrown. Did you say 144?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Awesome. So we will see what the Dragoon brings. Can you speak a little bit about how the Bach and Boar cleanse works? It seems like sometimes they cleanse immediately after an effect, sometimes they don't at all, sometimes randomly. Is it just a random chance to cleanse each round?
Yeah, so the cleansing that just happens randomly is the recovery mechanic, which also applies to heroes. The only special thing there is with both the Box and the Boars, they have the resilient passive, which gives them an additional like 5%, I think, recovery chance if they are blinded, and another additional 5% if they are poisoned. So if you're using either of those 2 specific status effects, like the chance of them recovering goes up, but it's still just kind of a random chance. So like it can happen sometimes where it's like their next turn they recover, but generally, unless they're like both blinded and poisoned, like the chance of that happening is less than 10%. But it can happen, and some people can get unlucky and it happens often. Others will get lucky and it never happens. So just kind of one of those things. And we may look at like tweaking some of those numbers as well, now that we have traits out, since like blinding winds, for example, can be pretty impactful to the hunts. So I've been kind of looking at that. But yep.
Nice. Got a couple of Beetle Dude questions, which he had fed me answers for last week, but I'm going to throw them to him and see what he says. He can throw them back at me if he wants. When we do
my voice,
I don't think I can.
I don't even know what my voice sounds like.
Far too like calm and soothing for me to imitate. When we do a search of heroes in the tavern, can we get the total search results at the top instead of scrolling each page so that it says like showing 100 out of 987 total, for example?
Yes. So I believe the answer I gave you was that I think we're limited on the API, but Pinecone's here, so he can tell me I'm wrong and that I need to fix it. But I believe that we're limited in knowing the total return results. It's not. It seems like it's not simple to return that along with the limited data that we're returning if we're not returning like everything at once. So
I think actually I made something for Zipper a few months back to get the count, so maybe we can use that.
All right, I knew it. I knew Pinecone. He just wants to add to the list.
Right.
To the list.
So we'll take a look, because currently it's only searching the 100 results at a time, but maybe we can tweak things.
Indeed. Yep. I've often wanted to do that, so if it's possible, that'd be awesome.
Nice. Thoughts on having an option to filter out dead heroes in the hero catalog?
I don't remember what I said for this. Probably, I think it's owned by the Graveyard contract. I'm not sure if we have a specific like
pretty much that
search.
We don't have a dead hero flag, so it's based on the current owner, so it would be a little trickier to add a filter, is what you told me.
Right. Yes, that sounds right.
What
That's
I
nice.
said you said.
That's what past me said. Current me has no idea. No, no. I think that's I think that's correct, but Pinecone is here again if he wants to correct me on that. But I believe that's accurate. So
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
No worries. There's not a dead filter on heroes, is the question essentially.
We could add that though.
Okay, cool.
Add it to the list.
All right, that goes on Pinecone's list.
Right? Does it feel good to put it on somebody else's list?
Yes. Got the
Not
power.
to interrupt again, but I just added 100 Jewel to the sponsorship of the bout that's going on. So anybody who votes is going to get a piece of that. Get in there and
well, if they vote, right.
Vote for me only.
We need
Beetle,
one sucker to vote for the other person.
Beetle, one more for you. Thoughts on a not for sale filter for pets?
I think that should be doable. I think we maybe already have that on heroes. Nice. This sounds like a Zips list.
I like it.
Which is actually just my list.
It's a portion of your list.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I will leave you alone for now and go back to bugging Hubert, which is my favorite pastime. Any plans to add more use cases that burn greater stones in the future besides Divine Essence and Greater Divine Essence?
I think there certainly could be something in the future. I don't know that I have anything specific that I would say there would be. Yeah, somebody better vote on that other side of that. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. You got a little support there, Winston.
Shout out to somebody. I appreciate that.
Nice. Anyway, yeah, so it definitely could happen. I mean, with crafting, I think there's a lot of room for us to do all sorts of things. So it's possible, but I don't have anything specific to say on that.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Plans for harder PvE content and or variable rewards for performance?
Let's see. Yes to harder content. There are plans. As far as like variable rewards, I think this question is asking about things like how you performed in the fight itself, like if you didn't use any potions or none of your heroes died or things like that. It is possible for us to implement something like that, but it is also a lot of work. So if we were to do that, I'd say it's probably a lower priority than a lot of the other things that are on our priority list right now. I don't necessarily dislike the idea. I just think there's a lot of other things that we should do first before we focus on doing something like that, because it would be a lot to implement. But yeah, but I think on the more difficult fight side, I think there's things tied to what I have planned there that will probably address the second part a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Gonna jump over to Dreamer for a moment here. Scaling liquidity alongside price growth. Any plans on gardening reallocations, more specifically on Sarandale, and any additional incentives to scale liquidity or anything similar to that? And actually, I'm going to pause there because there is a third question, but it's somewhat unrelated, partially related. So any plans for growing or incentivizing liquidity?
Yeah, no current plans on like outside incentivization. I think if we look at gardens, it was really the birthplace of our like core power tokens. And at the stage that we're at, things have their schedules and are minted. There was an idea at one point to like subsidize existing rewards with external ones. We've done some cool things with third-party rewards and hunts. You'll likely see that in other people sponsoring private matches in PvP. We'll probably see that in third-party tournaments as well. If we go kind of backward in time on the deck side, you could argue that we could do something similar. Is it as priority with our focus on gameplay? Probably not. But prior to doing that, I think we do need to see how the market shakes out and if there need to be proposals of adjustments of the pools themselves. We support a lot of tokens in the gardens. Do we need to? Would it be better as a first start to support less and have them be pulled together? Well, now we've impacted how many people can garden, but then there are other ways to solve for that too. So as you can see, it's already a complicated topic, one that takes time and has been probably on the agenda in tokenomics a few times in the last couple months without any real direction to be disruptive in a positive way with our resources we have. So I'd say if the question is there anything in motion as it relates to that? Not currently. There are things being discussed that could impact gardens, but I think that's more watching the market and what's best for the liquidity there. Is it possible to consider some third-party reward included through like a sponsorship or advertising type of thing in game? Totally possible. We're working on similar solutions in other places, and I guess we'll keep that in mind as things start to settle. Hold on, did I hit the 2 questions you asked, and did I cover the third, or do you want to ask that too?
You did answer the 2. I will throw the third out there, but real quick, I did also just want to note, speaking of liquidity, but not our gardens, Hercules, our partner Dex on Metis, where Jewel is on Metis, just added a bunch of rewards into the Jewel Metis pool. So there are other like levers as well for just increasing liquidity in general, even outside of our gardens. And then, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So when we considered the Coliseum build, we had a lot of discussions on what it should include and what it shouldn't, in order for it to be the best experience, but also be realistic to grow there. At the same time, Metis was really lifting up their main Dex Hercules, which was a recent launch, and they're still gaining momentum. It seemed pretty cool when they had their own token and their own rewards, in addition to our use case of Jewel, which seen some tweets already of, wow, it's so cool to buy heroes with Jewel again. If you haven't realized, Jewel is the main token on Metis, funding the powering the Coliseum. So all of the markets there, you'll notice they're denominated in Jewel as well. Hercules is not only supporting trading, but as Bulon mentioned, providing that third-party reward in their own pool. Now, that isn't in this question directly linked to the gardens, but in the absence of a gardens on the Coliseum, there is a kind of a crossover there. Now, in the future, does that mean that we'll have others do something similar? Like I said, I think it's possible, but for now, an immediate answer to at least the demand of the token is found on Coliseum. But if we're wanting more liquidity and more draw for our existing gardens and our full realms, I think that's something that we'll consider over this build and beyond.
Awesome. The third part of that question is pretty simple. Are gardening rewards somehow tied with PvP tokenomics on Metis? No, they are separate. But if anybody wants to add anything to that, Dreamer or anybody else, feel free. But
yeah, I mean, we could do a lot of things that are very complicated. We already have a lot of complicated things in game. I really like connecting the full realms to PvP features where it makes sense, not only to us that have been around for so long, but to new joiners. And so far, I think the game committee and tokenomics committee have really crushed it. Like everything that is available there is directly fueling. Something like that may be interesting, but I think it would also be very confusing for somebody to get to that level. And I imagine it would be very hard to implement as well. We've had a lot of good ideas come about that we had to discard because although we are on like the front of all pioneering and innovation with this stuff on the blockchain, we do a lot of things for the first time, or we do things that have been tried but not mastered. We do them, I think, very efficiently and effectively. Things like, bridging the amount of tokens all together as low cost and seamless as the experience has been made by Magnus, Fox, and Hubert and others. Man, that alone is huge. I don't see anybody else using bridging technology in that way, and that's probably why we got such support from Layer Zero and continue to work with them. But yeah, I think ideas like this, they're ideas that honestly I'm guilty of suggesting probably the most. hey guys, what if we did these two things? And then everybody's eyes get big and they're like, do you realize how much time that would cost and how complicated that would be? So good ideas, keep them coming. But some of them I think we have to keep in our back pocket until either technology catches up or we have a user base where some of these ideas can feed a good chunk of not only of our existing players, but the newer and progressing folks too.
Thank you, sir. This next question I'm going to kick off because we don't have Sunbear up on stage yet, and I think he's probably actually the closest to it, followed by myself and Dreamer. So, Dreamer, if you want to add anything to this, feel free. Is DFK considering or considered for the Avalanche 9000 grant? We actually talked a little bit about this last week. We are talking to Avalanche as well as other groups that are involved with the Avalanche 9000 program. We're interested, we're gathering information, we want to make sure we know how everything works, what impacts it has. So I don't have a firm answer that I feel like I should give. If Dreamer decides to, then hey, he can do what you want. But I would just say that it's something that we are definitely staying up on and keeping track of and making sure that we know exactly what's going on with it. Dreamer, anything you want to add?
I didn't hear a thing you said because all I'm doing is watching Winston and Esper go at it right now.
No,
And
it's so hard to focus. I just want to watch the battle.
Guys, this is freaking live. Like, I don't know. I hope that I know that we're all trying to be like focused on questions. We missed questions last week, and Bolon is really making sure that we're being true to our AMA purpose and appreciate it. But I don't know. It almost makes me like emotional to see, because you go back a couple years, this was a dream and nobody knew how it was going to happen, but we all wanted it to happen. Then the world fell apart and everybody said it wouldn't happen, except a select few of hardcore players that have supported us and partners that saw the vision. And like, I don't know, I'm seeing this is awesome. We're in an AMA. People are just made a decision to fight, hopped on all of the NFTs, tokens that are behind this, powering it, and they're actively playing. It looks fun. It's beautiful. It's strategic. Anyway, answer your question. Yeah, we're interested in Avalanche 9000. Change my name to it. We're looking at it. We'll see where it goes.
I appreciate it. And yeah, anybody that's not enjoying this battle is wrong. You should be enjoying it. And now I'm going to see if I can distract Hubert from that battle. Hubert, any thoughts with the influence system? And I think a lot of this is now probably starting to be seen, but this question was submitted right after we introed it last week, and so I'm going to throw it out there. What kind of protections the influence system has against collusive behavior or multi-walleting, and like potentially trying to game the system to get rewarded for throwing?
Right. Let's see. So I mean, with I guess gaming the system right now, you only really get something if a bout has been sponsored. And I mean, if you vote on the right side, you'll get a portion of that. But there's also other players that are also, spectating and voting. So, I think just by virtue of everyone using it, it's kind of hard to like really take too much out. Especially like, I mean, you create a match and you throw it. I mean, you're not going to receive, I guess, if you had like a separate account and you voted on the other side, I mean, you would potentially receive a portion of that. But like, if it was sponsored, did you sponsor it? Did somebody else? Like, I think there's enough there. There's enough time that people are given to be able to vote, that like any amount of effort that you put in there is going to be kind of saturated out. And also with the way that influence works, where you have a limited amount every week, like I think that was another measure that we took to make sure that you can't just constantly be coming in every day and just using max influence or like overpowering everything, because you'll use your influence up eventually. So people are going to need to pick and choose where they want to like really put a lot of influence down. And I think I saw at least like it looked like about 3 million influence went into this bout that we're watching right now, which is really cool to see. That's quite a lot. I think that this question was asked before they really saw how this whole thing works. I would say we're always very, very thoughtful about exploits, and if there's anything that we can do to kind of prevent exploiting. And I think we have hit the nail on the head in a lot of places with this system. It's not necessarily perfect, and I think there will always be some things that we either have to live with or we'll need to adjust. But I think for something that runs on chain in the way that it does, and I think we did a really good job with the influence system. It was a lot of work to get there, and I guess shout out to Sunbear as well to even allow it to kind of be a thing, because we had this included as something with an add-on with Metis. So yeah, anyway, hopefully that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It's been really awesome so far. It was mentioned in chat earlier, but over 9,000 heroes have already been bridged, which is incredible. So it's been awesome to see so far. All right, I'm going to rapid fire a few at you here. Thoughts on Hunts dropping guild equipment?
No.
Any perspective on adding stone, tier, or perilous journey bonuses to hero score, and more specifically for influence?
Yeah, no. I mean, we accounted for so many different things with the hero score. At some point, it just becomes too much. Like even right now, some people might think it's too much with how many things are accounted for. So yeah, don't see us doing that.
Any thoughts on adding equipment to provide a boost to influence score?
Also don't see us doing that either. As I mean, we'd have to add like a whole scoring metric for every piece of equipment and keep track of it for everything that we make. It adds a lot more work, so probably not.
Cool. Switching things up for a moment, Beetle Dude. Any thoughts on the reward modal moving the arrows to the top instead of the bottom so that as the size of the modal shifts, the arrows stay in place?
Yes, sir. That seems reasonable to me. I feel like we've done that in other places, so I'll just have to figure out what exactly. I thought maybe we did it on quest rewards, but maybe that was all in my head. Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think we've heard that feedback before, so
cool.
I'm just watching. Winston came back from the brink, man. That was close. That was real close.
Fox, any thoughts on a sneak peek into next season's duel rotation?
I'm just happy that I voted for Esper. Let's see. Yes. So look at the past couple seasons. We've been trying to release that information somewhere between like halfway through up to like maybe a couple weeks before the end of the season. Probably expect something similar this time. And I'll say that it's not actually done yet, so I don't have it to share right now. But it is on my list to do. And there's maybe some other things that we might change up with duels too. We're still talking about in our committee. So just stay tuned. Thanks.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Jumping back over to you, Hubert. I think we can squeeze in a few more while we finish watching Winston potentially lose this fight, which we will never let him live down. And then I do have one more update that I'll give at the end as well. Any elaboration that you can provide on the DK increase rate for the equipment shop pricing?
Yes. When you said decay, I like the letters went into my head, not the word decay. So I threw myself for a second there. This match is very distracting.
We're D Kingdom. We've dropped the phi.
Yeah. So every the kingdoms, every piece of equipment, everything that's in the vendor as well has an increased decay rate timer on it. They all have like a natural decay rate. So like, for example, the level 3 equipment I believe has like 0.03 gold. I think is its a base decay rate, and that's per minute. So every minute that goes by, the price goes down by 0.03. If nothing has been purchased after 12 hours, that rate is doubled. So then it becomes 0.06. If it's another 12 hours go by, it becomes 0.09, and so on. So like the longer something goes without being purchased, the faster its price will start to drop. So with the way the equipment's set up, it's kind of set up to where, if only like one thing is being purchased per day, the price will gradually be going down. But if like it goes like 3 days go by, 4 days go by, the price will start dropping pretty rapidly, like getting closer to where the minimum price is. So hopefully that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I'm just going to keep slinging them at you, to be honest. So, when you reset a hero to level 1 using Divine Essence / Greater Divine Essence once it's available, is it a flat amount or does it cost more to reset like a level 20 versus a level 10?
So it's Greater Divine Essence is what's used for resetting, and it is a flat amount that grows each time you do a reset. And it doesn't care about the level. So like with leveling up, like the level up reset, that doesn't give you free level ups. It gives you free experience for the level up. So you still would need to pay like the runes and any crystals and everything that you want to use for every level up. So there still is a cost kind of associated with like resetting from level 20 to level 1. So I think that cost it was sufficient, or my thought was that cost would be sufficient, and we wouldn't need to like add more to what is already being there for the Greater Divine Essence cost.
Awesome. On the topic of transcending, any estimate of when it will go live, but more specifically in terms of like people thinking about pledging heroes? Are we talking weeks or months kind of deal?
Yeah, so I mean, we always have to make sure that we have enough resources to like get our main goals complete. So I'd say definitely it's not going to be in like the next few weeks, but the Divine Essence system and durability system are two things that I feel really passionate about. So I am at least actively trying to make that a priority that we can accomplish before we get to tournaments. But things could happen and that might not work out. So I'm just going to kind of hedge here and say it's definitely something I want to have beforehand. Just can't promise that it will happen until we get closer to it actually being implemented. So
awesome, thank you. Follow-up question to that: will transcending go live before utility of divine and greater divine essences?
Likely not. No, I see those all kind of coming out at the same time.
All right. Any comments on plans for factors affecting rate of durability loss? Do we anticipate like regular use having a different rate than like a character death, for example?
I have thought about that before. I'm not sure that. Also, Winston. Um, um, I think it would be kind of complicated to. It's kind of like back to that other question about like tracking what specifically happened in a fight. We could do it where we have basically we track off chain the things that happened, and then we say, okay, this hero died, so they lose 2 durability and everything. This one didn't, so they lose 1. Or we could do some other things. I think there's we haven't implemented durability yet, so I do think there's room to kind of consider some things to kind of impact how much is deducted each time. But we kind of need to like build it and see how it works, and then kind of adjust things as we go. So it's kind of too early to say too much.
Do we expect equipment repair costs to vary by the piece? So nicer equipment would be more expensive to repair.
I would say that is likely, but I probably won't be like too huge of a difference between like things. But likely there will be some differences.
Awesome. Any current use for stam pots on Metis?
No, we do not have stamina. Actually, doesn't even get bridged to Metis currently, so it just is not a part of the system.
Awesome. Any thoughts on adding to the Visage shop some permanent skins, just like a handful that are always available?
I feel like I was maybe not the person who's answering this or should answer this, but
Yeah,
I
you
know.
can be if you want. If not, I'll make somebody else do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of what we talked about on that one is, it kind of, if it was always available, there, like having an aftermarket kind of doesn't work. Like whereas with the only time limited availability on them system, that does kind of create, it creates an aftermarket. Though with that said, I guess we are planning to allow normal equipment to be converted into visages. So in a way, I think normal equipment kind of fits into that category of being always available, especially for anything that's like from a gold shop. You could potentially buy those and then convert them into visages if you wanted to, once we have that system in place. So maybe the answer is actually yes, but it's a roundabout way to get there.
That works. No, I greatly appreciate the insight there. I am going to go ahead and do my final announcement because this match is clearly wrapping up at this point. No offense, Winston.
Could go either way. There's still a lot of game left.
So you're saying there's a chance?
In basketball, when like the last 3 minutes are just timeout, timeout, timeout. That's this. I'm just going to run that shot clock.
Listen, I believe in your Seer's ability to kill all 3 of these heroes by himself from nearly full health. I believe in you.
Thank
you. And it's over. Congratulations, Esper.
Good game, Esper.
My final announcement is on Visages anyway, which is why I figured I would just go ahead and jump into that, because we were just talking about Vizzies. So as a reminder, first off, there are 2 days left to buy the Matisian Toga and Crown of Wisdom. So you got just over 48 hours left to get those. There is a $5,000 prize pool of metis that will be divided to everybody who buys the Visage. So just keep in mind that one is a sponsored one, and it will get a rebate of sorts, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but you will get a reward for purchasing. Also, it looks fantastic. It's really cool. Huge shout out to SVD for that one. He knocked it out of the park. So there's 2 days left on that one. But I'm also going to go ahead and tease next week on hypothetically Wednesday, we will actually be putting out another sponsored Visage. This one is from the crew at Hercules. I am not going to go into the reward details yet. We'll tell you more about that later. But I will say that this Visage is one that has something that we've never done before. So it is still not game impacting. It is still cosmetic only, but it has some features that we have never put on a Visage before that I'm pretty excited about, where it really, your hero matters for this Visage. So really excited for that. Looking forward to that. Stay tuned for more details. But 48 hours left to get the Metis one. And then on Wednesday, we will introduce the Hercules one. And it looks epic. Again, SPD knocked it out of the park. So going to be really cool. Stay tuned for more details on that. With that, I'll just go ahead and say my last piece because I'm already talking. As always, thank you to everybody who has tuned in. Thank you to everybody that watches the stream later. Thank you for asking questions. Keep them coming. Y'all's questions are awesome. We are not fully caught up, but we will continue to get caught up. So if you've submitted a question, we didn't answer it today, don't worry. I have it. It will get answered. But in the meantime, keep submitting them so that we have more questions. But greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate everybody up here. And huge shout out to just the entire team for PvP. It's incredible. I'm going to include myself in that because I can. But it's been so much fun watching people get to dive into it. The release was awesome. And it's just been great so far to watch. There's so much more to come. This is only phase 1, and we've got a lot of plans. So thank you, everyone in the community who has stuck through all of this with us, who has been here with us. We hope that you are enjoying PvP so far, and we can't wait to keep bringing you more features. I won't force everybody to talk, but if anybody has anything they want to say, please feel free. And then I am going to nominate Pinecone to bullish us, because even though we haven't had Beetle in a while either, I'm more likely to get Beetle again than Pinecone again. So
Questionable.
That's fair. We got to put you back in the dungeon. So we'll wrap up with Pinecone. But if anybody else has final thoughts, please do share.
Just a quick invitation. There's a platform out there called X, and whether we like it or not, that's where most of the crypto things happen. We have a lot of cool things happening in our Discord and others, and we want that to continue to be so. But if you like what you're seeing, if you like what we're doing, if you are impressed by the technology, please hop on there. Support other of our micro influencers' tweets, comment on them, like them, share them, like our videos, comment, and just really help the momentum. If you're doing things on Metis in the Coliseum, it's helping us. We need this to be successful. We need to move the needle. We need more heroes over there. We need more influence. We need more matches. So there's part of this where we're doing this for fun, and there's part of this where we want to make sure we get the momentum going as a group. We are so grateful for everybody in the first 24 hours that has done so much. We need to continue to get the word out there. Unfortunately, people need to hear things 3, 4, 5, 50 times before some of them do anything about it. So we need to be squeaky wheels. We need to have fun. We need to high five each other and lift each other up. We've been doing that. Let's just keep at it. Thank you so much to everybody out there. And our goal is to grow. So we need to get to it, and let's fucking grow. Over to you, Pinecone.
Real quick, there is also a platform out there called games.gg with a 3, GAM3S.gg, that currently has their Web3 gaming awards going on. Nominations are open. If you feel like it, go nominate us. Sorry, that reminded me. Over to Pinecone.
Well, yeah, I just want to say great job, team. You're the best. And thank you, community. You're the best also. Appreciate y'all lifting this up and making this a great release. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I just have to second that. The community is excellent. It's very nice to chat with you guys in Discord, and always supportive. And the team has been amazing to work with. I'm so proud to be part of this excellent team. And I hope to see a lot of you guys and girls in Salt Lake next week. And then I'll just say that I'm really bullish.
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 See you guys next week.
DeFi Kingdoms, where you can summon heroes, trade with other players, quest, and fight challenging enemies in a fantasy world brought to life in pixel art animation. Command your legion, claim your legacy.